And welcome, folks, to a special edition of the Michigan Football Breakdown focused on the defense with Vance Bedford. We had an assignment, right? The assignment was watch Ohio State. Oh, Vance said that. Oh, I'm game for that. Let's go. Let's go. You mean you want me to go break it down like I was still coordinating? Oh, Sam, I could do that. I could do that for the people, especially after I had a great Thanksgiving, because I know you had a great Thanksgiving. Ain't that right, Vance?
And we had a wonderful time. We had smoked turkey. We had one in the oven, all kind of pies, different kind of stuff. And man, it was outstanding. But it's always great when you have family around you. That's a blessing in itself.
So Vance, what did you cook? Let's get that out the way
I
first.
didn't do a lot this year, Al. Sam, my wife wanted to do most of the cooking. I just cooked some greens. I made me some collard greens. I got to have my greens. Now, I grew up on those bad boys. So everybody liked them collard greens. And I had a little bit of, probably a cup of Chardonnay off in there to give it a little, instead of putting vinegar, put a little wine in there, a little white wine in there. Whoo!
Okay.
Fred
Okay.
Jackson could tell you about that. I turned Fred Jackson on to that about 25 years ago.
Wait. So you turned Fred Jackson on the wine in
Yeah,
the
on the
green.
wine and the green.
Did you
See,
turn?
his dad was a chef. Fred
Okay.
Jackson's dad was a chef. So we used to argue about that. One time he tried it. So he said, Vance, boy, that idea we had about that wine and the green, he said, we had. He didn't say Vance. So he took over my green recipe.
Okay. But you didn't give him the bacon grease on the kneecaps. You ain't give him that one.
Nah, man, I can't go that route.
Hey
Uh,
man, you gotta love Freddie J. Gotta love Freddie J.
oh,
All right.
that's my man.
So listen, folks, we got a special session in store for you. Really been looking forward to this because we just got done with Al breaking down the Michigan offense versus the Ohio State defense. But half the questions were about the Michigan defense against the Ohio State offense, right? People want to know about that offense and how you defend Marvin Harrison Jr. and what about Trevion Henderson in the mix? And we'll get into all of that. We'll also get into your questions. First things first, want to let you know that the 75% off deal with 24/7 Sports, the Black Friday deal that came early. All right, today's Black Friday, folks. So it started early, but it ends on time. It is 75% off an annual subscription. That is 7 cents per day for information that you can trust, that you can rely upon. Expertise and analysis like this that you get, right? Only on 24/7 Sports, only on the Michigan Insider. So if you haven't taken advantage of that deal, be sure to take advantage of it now. I will make sure to put the link in the description and in the comment section and in the chat as we get going. And then we'll go from there, folks. So take advantage of it while you can. Vance, you went back and you watched a handful of Ohio State games.
Yeah.
As you looked at that Ohio State defense, let's just start off first with what you noted as the strengths of that Ohio State offense, I should say. What you noted as the strengths of that Ohio State offense as you went back and watched them play.
When Trayvon Henderson is in the game and healthy, they're a different offense. Ryan Day is more willing to run the football. He is a big play hitter. I was just watching it again this morning and against Rutgers. He had a big run and a big pass check down to him that went for, I think, 45 and 50 yards. It really changed the game. Against Notre Dame, they came out in the second half. I think it was the first play of the third quarter. It was just a duel. He bounced it outside. He went 60 yards for a touchdown. So he's been a difference for them. Also, they have a tendency to run gap scheme plays, counters and powers more with him in there. So he makes a huge difference for the offense because now if you got to worry about stopping the run, which in the past you didn't have to worry about that, it's tougher now to say we're going to sit back and play zone and roll up on number 18, Marvin Harrison. You got to really be focused on stopping Trayvon Henderson right now in this ballgame.
So yes, focus on stopping Marvin Harrison. That is without question a strength on this team. We'll get into how you would do that, but break him down as a receiver. I mean, you're a ODB. What did you notice about him? What makes him so hard to contend with?
Great route runner, number one. Uh, he can adjust to the ball. In the red zone, it's a check with me. If they look up there and see just one guy out there, they're gonna have a run on. It's check with me. He's gonna beat you because he can jump. He has great body control. Great short area quickness. I don't know how fast he is, but he's always open. And so that makes him a dangerous guy. You need to be aware of where he is. Last year, you kind of knew where he was going to line up most of the time. This year, they are moving him around quite a bit. So you got to figure out where he is and why he is aligning in a different spot. If you can figure it out during the course of the game, you have a chance of slowing him down. And the teams that have walked up on him and tried to press him, they've had more success in slowing him back off playing zone because it disrupts the timing of the route for the quarterback to the receiver.
So, as you looked at teams that had success covering him, I think Notre Dame, at least to me, watching Benjamin Morrison cover him, I thought he was the most successful guy. Now, they didn't just leave him on the island the whole game.
No.
They gave him some help at times, but I thought his willingness to get up in his face and press him and try to turn and run with, but to be physical with him, I thought that was one of the real factors in him kind of holding his own in that matchup. Was that accurate to say in your eyes?
That's good, but Notre Dame did a good job. They walked up on him. Rutgers did a good job. I mean, eventually, when you got a great receiver like his, he's going to make some plays. That's to be honest. But they were able to slow him down. And you go back to the Penn State game. Penn State, I think it's in the second quarter, they blitz, cause fumble, scoop and score, but they're in zero coverage, and the DB held. And so it came back. That could have turned that game around. You look at Notre Dame, it's two-minute situations. Right before the half, Notre Dame Ohio State's getting a 2-minute offense, goes down, kick a field goal. At the end of the game, in a 2-minute situation, they go down, score a touchdown. That's 10 points. So in the Notre Dame game, it came down to two-minute drills that cost Notre Dame the game. They played great defense. And not Maryland, but Rutgers, for instance, they played physical, aggressive, and was the big plays by Trayvon Henderson. One in the run game, and another one on a check down and went down, I think, to the 2 or 3 yard line. He was a difference in that game. So again, they having different guys step up right now to do things for them. But overall, you're right. Marvin Harrison got to know where he is, and you got to make sure that you fit the run soundly. And Trayvon Henderson in there, he wants to bounce it outside now. They run a duo, Sam. He bounces outside, and he goes 50 to 60 yards all the time. So we got to make sure for our linebackers to be in their gaps, whether they spilling or turning it back to each other, but know what your run fits are to make sure we can stop the run this week.
So what about the quarterback? Kyle McCord, they're coming off a run of quarterbacks that is, it's one for the record books, right? I mean, you go from – you get C.J. Stroud, Justin Fields before that, Dwayne Haskins before that. I mean, they've had dudes. So what about Kyle McCord, and what kind of challenge does he present this Michigan defense?
Well, those other quarterbacks you just mentioned, they're first-round picks, and they play to their strengths. Okay, for this guy here, he has started off the season as a game manager. So the routes you see now are a little bit different. They throw more high-low routes so he can go to a check down real fast. They throw more routes over the middle. So we're going to talk about that later. You see a lot of digs and that square end routes. They're working between the hashes, working the linebackers, and those are throws that he's pretty decent at. So they've adjusted their passing game to fit his skill set. And we talked about last week where we saw RPO. Well, theirs is more play action pass. He's not running a football. It's more of the look of RPO, but it's more play action pass, and they throwing things off of that. So they're doing things to fit his skill set, let them manage the game. They're saying, we're not going to put you in a situation where you have to go out and win the game. We're going to let you throw check downs. We're going to call screens and different things. We're going to get you on the corner with some bootlegs to give you a chance to have success. So the game plan for him is a lot different than C.J. Stroud.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's flip it around. You told me what you feel are strengths for the Ohio State offense. Tell me where you think they have some vulnerability, where you think they can be had, they can be gotten. Where did you see
offensive line? I think the offensive line, as we talked about the other day, I think they're big, but they're not athletic. If they can get their hands on you, they're in good shape. But they have a tendency, they were better this past game as far as not telegraphing if it's run or pass, but they can't help themselves if they get tired. I mean, to me, that's what a weakness is. We have to be able to get off of blocks in the run game and fit our gaps. And then we have to be able to pass rush. And I'm hoping that Mike Elston and the D-line coaches do a tremendous job in saying, hey, Look at their stances. Are they heavy? A lot of pressure on their hands. Are they sitting high? What are they doing? So now you know if it's run or pass. And the only time you really can't tell in pistol, it could be play action pass or run. Otherwise, now a lot of times you can tell if it's run or pass by the stances of two of the offensive linemen.
Hey, look at
That
this.
is the weakest link for. Go ahead.
Look at this comment from this Buckeye.
What's
It's
that?
a Buckeye. Hey, man, Buckeye showing some love. Even if they hate me in the comments, they still show up. But this Buckeye is giving us some love in the comments. He said, I'm here because this is the highest quality content on this
Oh my
game on
goodness.
the internet. I was like, oh,
That, that's
hey,
that's crazy.
hey, gentle comedian, you about to get excommunicated from the family, right? You know that, right?
Yes, he is.
I'm
Oh
just
my
saying.
goodness.
I mean, your own risk. Your own risk. He is around a lot, though. Even we are talking about Ohio State, he's around a lot. But Vance, offensive line. When you can get in this quarterback's face, when you're playing on their side of the line of scrimmage, it just that's any team, not just this team, but that's any team is going to have their trouble. But they, it wasn't like that Rutgers game. They were winning that one going away. Rutgers was on them. That was a game. Did they have a lead at halftime? That was a game at halftime.
Sam, it was big plays. It was big. Trayvon Henderson had two big plays to break the game open. That's the difference in the game. I mean, it's nick and tuck. I mean, they scored a touchdown. That Rutgers come right back and score. So at the end of the day, it's like Trayvon Henderson had two big plays to take him down inside the 5-yard line. That's the difference in the ball game was him. I mean, they did a good job on Marvin Harrison. They got down to the red zone. I knew it was a run play, but it was a check with me. I mean, y'all watching the offensive line fire off. He was out there by himself. He dropped one, and the next time they get down there, he makes a great catch. He high points the ball. He's so athletic. So it's a check with me. But Trayvon Henderson was a different in that ball game. Trayvon Henderson was a different in the Notre Dame ball game. He had a couple of big runs in that particular ball game also. So he's been big for them. So if we can find ways again to fit the run properly, we hadn't had very many issues with that this year. Last year we had a lot of problems. This year we had, I think last ball game, we had one situation where the backer, he went to turn the ball back, and the linebacker, he went to spill the football, and the linebacker stayed back, and the ball hit the crease for about a 15-yard gain. And I think that might be the only situation I've seen this year where we didn't fit it properly. So it's very important, again, if we fit the run properly, we're going to be fine in the run game. But what they're doing, Sam, they are making sure the passing game is quick fire. The ball's out. Now, third down is a whole. They've had issues on third down protecting the quarterback. They really have. I mean, they on third down, one of the least. I look in the Big Ten, they probably in the bottom half of protection on third down. They've had their issues. So that's why they're trying to stay in third down and 3 to 5 by running the ball or throwing quick pass games on first and second down.
All right. So you told me what they do well. You told me where they're vulnerable. Let's look at the Michigan defense. We're going to get into your diagrams after this, and then we'll get to questions after that. All right. But what do you see Michigan do over the course of the season that Michigan has done defensively that you think would be effective against Ohio State, that you think Ohio State would have problems dealing with based on what you see Michigan do?
Movement. Because they're big and the type of run plays they run is movement. You run in your nickel sound blitz or your nickel lightning blitz. Again, it's movement, it's taking gaps away. Because when they run it, they actually run a stretch. And you can tell how flat they're going. And if they can jump set you and cut you off, you got a problem. When you start moving that way, it takes that away. Because now you send the ball back to the linebackers. If they stay at home, you can destroy that play. Their biggest issue is blocking movement. If you sit stationary because they are big, they hold quite often, they can get a crease with Trayvon Henderson. So I like that type of situation there. If you just sit there and say, we right here, and if we don't see run or pass, keep by their stances, sometimes it's tough to get off of blocks because they are big.
Yeah. All right. So, folks, start getting your questions in the chat. So I'll put the prompt in now. So if you have questions for Vance, start putting them in after I put this prompt in the chat, and I will start getting questions from that point. I have grabbed a few already, but this will be my my marker, and then we'll go ahead and get into Vance's diagram. So if you have questions for Vance, go ahead and get them in now, and then we'll come back to them at the end or in the latter session of the show. All right. All right. So here we go, and now it is in there for you guys to start putting your questions in. So Vance, I'm going to bring these diagrams up, and do you want them in the order in which you sent them to me, or does it
whatever one you put up there, we'll talk about it.
All right, that's what we'll do right now as we'll go one by one with diagrams from Mr. Vance Bedford. Let's put this first one up on the screen for the people to see. And then you can tell us what it's all about, Vance. All right, so let me go ahead and share this screen right now. And
I'm just hoping that as we talk to this and the fans see it, we're going to talk about splits. Okay. So here we go right here in this situation right here. See number 18? I got number 18. There's something wrong with that picture. There's cut splits everywhere. You see Z to the field is inside the hash. 18 is in the slot to the boundary. He goes in short motion and bubbles for a screen. But again, 18's in the wrong spot. Z has a cut split. This kind of shows up in the full games I look at. It's not just one play, one time. This is several times. So again, I'm going to talk about the cut splits. 18 is in the wrong spot. He's in short motion. He bubbles. So now you can see the tight end motions out. Now, why is a tight end, Sam, outside the Z receiver? He's not supposed to be there. So again, bells and whistle goes off. Something strange. This could possibly be a double pass. He's out there to block either screen or double pass. Don't be surprised we see some kind of gadget play, which they have done in about 2 or 3 games this year off of this. So be aware of that. But again, we got a cut split, Z motions outside, 18 in the wrong spot.
So let's do this. Let's go through it right now. Cut splits. What's my alert? What am I alert? What are you telling me to look for?
First thing I'm gonna say, why is Z to the field inside the hash mark? He has no business being in there, Sam. He's up there for one reason. He's number one, and he's in block mode, or you got to anticipate somebody's motion. That's number one. If he's in there, he's there for a reason. What is it? Why is 18 into the boundary in the slot with the receiver outside of him? So it's a good chance, you know what he's going to do, Sam? He's going to motion. Because normally if he's into the boundary, he's the guy on the line of scrimmage. He's rarely off the line of scrimmage when he's into the boundary. So again, for the secondary and linebackers, that should be a big awareness for them. Like, hey, everybody's in the wrong spot. We got something going on. The ball somebody's going to him because he shouldn't be there, number one. If he's inside the hash to the field, he's in block mode. So we got to get ready for all those kind of things going on. So that's bells and whistles right there.
Yeah, see, we can't show their footage. We damn sure can't show all 22. But Vance said, I got it. I got it. I'll draw it. I'll show you like this how I want them to see it. All right, so here's the next one, Vance.
Okay.
Is this the same one?
That's the same one we just looked at.
All right, hold on.
All right, here we go right now. So again, as we look at the screen, the wide field is to the left. See, 18 is an X receiver. Guess what he is, Sam? He on the ball. He got a cut split. Look at the tight end. He got a cut split. I got the back actually in front of the quarterback. But guess who else has a cut split, Sam? The S. He is 2 yards inside the hash. He's to the field. Why do we have cut splits everywhere? We have cut splits everywhere. Why? Because we're going to get shallow crossing routes. And my man, number 18, Marvin, he's going to run a route about 12 yards deep. So this is a middle flood. This is a work the linebacker. We saw this last week when my man Mike got hurt. Remember that? We talked about that. Yeah. Mike went out. This is a similar route as that. This also the same route that TCU ran on us. And you can see the Z to the field. He's running a squaring route. So again, they are working the linebackers. If you're in zone, they're working the linebackers. Now, if you see the release of the receivers, look at X. That's 18. That's Marvin Harrison. He is stemming inside. He's telling you right now, by his stem, he's going to run an inside route. Okay. Now, when he runs a corner route, Sam, his stem is harder. He's vertical than to a corner route. So I'm big on releasing. Anybody ever played for me or talk to me about football? I'm looking for any indicator I had. This is just a hard stem. He's working a technique of the defensive back sticks his foot in the ground, breaks inside. So if you run in zone, they're working on linebackers right now. They're working linebackers. But again, I'll go back to this, Sam. The S to the field. He's inside the hash. The Marvin Harrison and Y to the boundary. They 2 yards. He's 2 yards inside the numbers. Okay. Now the back is wide, and in front of the quarterback, he's running a wheel route just in case if you got a zone blitz on, they working the defensive end if he's dropping properly. For example, you had nickel Sam on, that's going to be the defensive end to the boundary. Got to take that back, and we do quite a bit of that now. So this is a way for them to attack that linebacker / defensive end if you got a zone blitz on. Okay. But again, splits, cut splits everywhere on the football field.
All right, so this should be an indicator, or at least this should have you alert to certain things if you're a defender for Michigan. I got you. All right, let's go on to the next diagram.
Oh my goodness! Now, this is the counter. They've run this more and more. The first thing I'll talk about, okay, the back is deeper. He's deeper to take that counter step to give the lineman a chance to pull. Okay, like you see, I got a depth of the back. Okay, this is FSL. They go on counter back to the field.
So for folks who are just joining us for the first time, because you talk about FSL, so people who come all the time know what that is, but for people who don't, what's FSL?
This formation to the boundary. They got more receivers to the boundary than they do to the field. Okay. The next thing is this is a tight end. The tight end is going to be tight. Now, based on who's in the game, I think it's number 8. Anytime number 8 is in position, but he has to block, what he does, he reaches out and touches the hip of the tackle. He's getting as tight as he can to cut you off. And see, they're running more counter and power this year than last year. And again, I think it goes back to the quarterback. It's not C.J. Stroud. It's not Justin Fields. So they're relying more on the run game to get them to 2nd and 5. And they've had good success with the counter. But again, it's the depth of the tight end is alerting to you right now what can possibly happen. Here you go right now with the counter. He's getting tight so he can cut off the defensive end. Because anytime we're in over defense, our defensive ends, they line up in a 9 technique. So in other words, he's outside the tight end. So that tight end, what he's going to do is try not to block him. And he's going to make it real easy for him in that situation.
Okay. All right, Vance, we're going to bring this all together for you people at the end. We got a couple more diagrams to get through.
All right, here we go right now. This is a high-low route. Again, tailback is close to the quarterback. I mean, he is close to the quarterback. That means he can't run the football. The only guy that's going to be able to say is the linebacker. That's the indicator for the linebacker. It's a possible pass. Now, 18 is a guy to the boundary. Now, you saw when I had him a squaring route, how I had him releasing Sam. Mm-hmm. Now, you see this hard release? Then I sent him vertical corner route. See the different steps from that and the dig route? Mm-hmm. 2 different releases. He telegraphs what he's going to do. I'm big as a DB coach. I'm big on releases. Anytime a guy stems, he's not going vertical. He's going to break somewhere 12 to 15 yards. So if I'm a cornerback, I got to understand it. Stem release means it's not a vertical threat. It's a route somewhere 12 to 15 yards. I got to get ready to break on. Now, you see the S to the field? He is slightly inside the hash. They're doing a lot of, I call them dig routes. Some people call them squaring routes. Again, they work on a linebacker. And the tailback, he's a check and release guy because he's tight to the quarterback. He steps up, the backer doesn't come, bam, he flares. So if the backers get too wide to the field, they're going to throw it to the dig, to S, to the boundary. But for the most part, Sam, you see the route to the boundary? I call this smash route. Mm-hmm. There's a guy in the flat 5 yards deep and a guy corner route. They do smash, they do reverse smash. Same concept, but the same thing. So the quarterback feels pressure. You know where the ball goes right now? To the 5-yard hitch route. If he got time, he's throwing the corner route first. But again, they didn't do this last year. The ball was looking to go deeper last year. They're getting the ball this year. They're saying, hey, don't take sacks. Don't turn the ball over. If you feel pressure, you know you got to check down right there. And that's the philosophy things that they're doing right now to make a difference in how they playing this year compared to last season. And you see I got stands to the O-line. They got 2 guys right now. They're going to tell you if it's run or pass. The only time I really couldn't tell when they got in pistol. It means, in other words, the tailback is directly behind quarterback. It's either run or pass. Now, Sam, check this out. So I went back and looked at the game. I was looking at it yesterday before everybody came over. Got up this morning after I came back from my wife and I, we go downtown on Friday mornings to feed the homeless. And so I came back. So let me go back and look at some film again. So the quarterback gets on the center. I don't have the diagram not up there. The quarterback get on the center. It's a gadget formation, Sam. You got to say, why is this cat on the center? You with me?
Mm-hmm.
It's either a naked, or if they got a receiver close by, it's a wide receiver sweep. He opens up and give it to the guy coming in short motion. So they got two plays. It's either naked or boot, or it's a sweep by a receiver. So anytime the quarterback gets under center, and it's not 4th down and inches, Sam, got to be bells and whistles, baby.
Mm-hmm.
They got something up. It is a perimeter play. It's either a sweep or it's going to be a boot. So if I'm a defensive end to the field, guess what? I'm thinking it's something going to come my way. So again, indicators again, Sam, by alignments.
So you said they tell you run or pass the line. So are there particular guys to look at on the offensive line?
Number 70, Sam. Number 70, he telegraphs it. He's gotten better as the season went on, but when he gets tired, he just shows it. And sometimes 71 does it too. 71 does a better job of hiding it, but when it's just a deep pass set, they both showing it right now. And anytime they all get their hand in the dirt, you're getting run or you're getting flags and pass.
All right, we got another one.
Ooh, now, they like to shift the motion a lot. So now, this is a different way of running counter. It's counter OL. I want everybody to look at the tight end, the Y. He gets a little bit deeper. When he's got to cut somebody off, he's going to reach out and touch the hip of that tackle because he's stepping and blocking that gap. He's deeper now. And the only guy that's going to see that is a defensive man. And he ought to be yelling right now, hey, he's deep, whatever call you have. We should have a call. So wild up, hey, he's deep, he's coming back across. So again, this is another indicator of what's going on. Now, this team, they shift and motion 50% of the time. They don't just line up in bunch. They be out wide and they shift back in. They trade the back quite a bit. And you can see my little note again, the depth of the back and the depth of the tight end. On just the counter on the guard tackle, the back was deeper. On OY, offensive guard, and the Y, the tight end, the back is deeper. Indicator, Sam. There's a lot of things telling you what's going on. I know I'm giving you a lot of information, but when you get in there with your defensive players, if I'm a defensive man, he's looking for the depth of the tight end and the offensive tackle, period. Other information doesn't affect him at all. If I'm a linebacker, I'm looking at the depth of the back, how tight he is to the quarterback. So everybody has certain indicators that they're looking at to see if it's run or pass, those type of things. So all the guys not taking all the information with them. By position, you learn certain things. For the secondary, I'm talking about splits. I also want to be able to see if the back is wide, where either he's going to fly out or he's in the protection. But now if I'm a safety, hey, they got to cut split. Hey, watch crack, watch reverse. Hey, we're going to get double dig route. All those type of things. So every position has different things they're looking for, information gathering to let the rest of the guys know what's going to happen to them.
Yeah, the most valuable things, the easiest to take away things for the layperson is when you talked about, I think I just froze up there a little bit, but when when you talked about how the run pass tell.
Yes.
I think that's a huge key in this game, to be able to watch for that and to be able to watch the alignment of the back. Those are really telltale things that I gotta believe that they're seeing on film themselves.
No, they have to, but when you're a good football team, Sam, sometimes you just don't care. We're better than most people. Ohio State, for the most part, they've been better than most people. So every team has indicators. Michigan has the same indicators. I'm breaking down Michigan. I'm seeing some of the same things. Don't get me wrong. So if you're good at something, you don't start changing things up. If you're good at it, you go execute it and see, can they execute enough to beat you? And that's how good football teams are. When I was at Michigan in 97, we're a good football team. We're going to do what we did. We're going to run the football. And off of that, we had the nakeds. But for linebackers and secondary, they knew one thing. They had to stop the run. They couldn't stop the run. We're going to throw the ball over their head. I mean, so it's based off of if you believe in what you're doing, you just keep doing what you're doing. Our biggest thing is when they shift in motion, or we're aware of it. They do motion and empty, just like Maryland did to us. Okay. And again, you get a lot of routes, 5 yards. Balls out quick. I'm not going to off the line, get in position to get me behind the sticks. So we're going to probably see anywhere from 5 to 7 snaps of empty in this ball game, just trying to see if we're in zone or man. Because I think Notre Dame, they shifted to empty. Trayvon Henderson went out wide. A linebacker went out with him. They threw the ball right over the top of Trayvon Henderson for a big play. So he was a difference in the Notre Dame game. Also a difference in the Rutgers game.
Gotcha. So what I'm going to do, so I can go ahead and kind of restart my camera, is I'm going to go ahead and get a question in, and then Vance, while you're answering it, I can restart my camera. So
sounds like a plan.
Here is the thing from Haji, 1954. Hello again, Sam and Coach Vance. I know one thing for sure: we aren't going to emulate Penn State or any other defense. It's going to be a great Michigan victory Saturday afternoon. Did you see anything from how Penn State defended Ohio State that you think Michigan can incorporate in how they defend them coming up tomorrow?
I don't, Sam. I don't think it's close. They are a man team. They're a pressure team. We do some man, but we more of a zone team. We're a zone blitz team. On third down and long, you see some man, we mix man in it. If you go back to the Rutgers game, Maryland, Illinois, we play more man to man. In those games and other games, we play off man. You know, last week, I think I talked about it. The technique we did in press, where we stab and open up, we can't do that. We got to stay square, get both hands on these guys, or at least stay in front of them. If we just stab and open up, we asking for to give up a touchdown. So Penn State is in your face, defensively in your face with your corners. Rutgers tries to do the same thing. Notre Dame at times walked up and pressed the receivers, and that gave them problems. That's not what we really do, but we do some of it to mix it up. But for the most part, we just got to do what we do to keep it going. And since Sam not back, as you can see, all my Michigan stuff back there, I love it. You know, that's my 95 and 97 group of defensive backs. Had a good time. But for the fans, whether you're watching it on television, sitting in the stands, as you watching this game, look and see where 18 is located and be aware of splits. If you're watching those things, you're going to have an idea of what's about to happen before it happens. If you get down in the red zone and you see a corner out there by himself on number 18, it's a good chance they're just going to say, check with me, throw the ball. It could be a run on. It's going to be catch the ball and throw it to 18, let him jump, let him adjust, that type of thing. And lastly on that, look how to tighten the lines and where your lines. If you see those things, those indicators, you're going to be in the stands, you're going to be at home watching television, you're going to be calling the players. How come they ain't going to stop that play? We talked about that the other day. You're going to see it just as I see it. I'm just letting you know early.
All right.
You can see, hey, Sam, I got my camouflage sweater on for him. I'm ready, baby. I'm ready to go to battle. I'm camouflage. Sam, look at that, Sam. Woo! You can't see me. I'm invisible.
Hey, you should still be coaching, Vance.
No,
Man,
no.
They can't pay you enough. They can't pay you enough to come out of
They
retirement.
can't pay me enough to come out of. Hey, Sam, I'm coaching right where I am right now. I'm in my basement with the fireplace on. So, like I said, my wife and I, we go downtown on Fridays to help feed the homeless. So now we're just bagging breakfast. I left the house this morning, it was 18 degrees. Right now, it's still 18 degrees. I'm saying something wrong. Somebody lying to me. So I talked to my little computer upstairs. I said, what's the temperature? 18 degrees. I said, you told me that at 6 o'clock this morning. Sam, it's 10:30 right now. I mean, something not right. So I done shoveled snow already. Maggie and I been out shoveling snow. So it's all good, man. But I'm ready to go to battle. Camouflaged up, baby.
All right, so folks, we're going to get into your questions for Vance coming up here. Before we do, I've been telling you about the app that will allow you not only to read everything we do on 24/7 Sports over on the MichiganInsider.com, 75% off, by the way, on Black Friday, so take advantage of it while you can. But not just that, but what we do on the YouTube page, what we do on our podcast page. Yes, all of those pages are nice individually. You can navigate the MichiganInsider.com very well. It shows up great on mobile, on your phones, the message board, all of that. Same thing with YouTube. I mean, they've optimized it for your phone. It's great, and you get set it up. You subscribe to the channel, Every time we do a new video, you'll get an alert. But what if I told you you can get all of those things in one place? And not just all of our content, but content from other great Michigan content providers like MGO Blog or the Professor and the Pundit, right? You want it all in one place? Tom Brady came up with a solution. It is called Autograph. It is an app that is available right now for Apple users. They tell me pretty soon Droid users will have it too, but right now, your iOS folks, you're in luck because you can get this app. It aggregates all of your favorite Michigan fan consumptions, right? And then as you consume these things, as you read the content from MichiganInsider.com or watch the channel, watch the breakdown like I'm doing with Vance right now, or listen to a podcast, you are accruing points. They are giving you points for doing the things you already do. And then as you accrue these points, you build them up. Now you can redeem those points for rewards. It is a great concept. You shouldn't be surprised that Tom Brady came up with something like that, right? Where he rewards you for being a fan. And of course, he's going to start that off with Michigan, right? Going to start it off with, why would you start that with some other fan base? Going to start it off with the fan base he loves the most. And that is you University of Michigan fans. So Tom, he has a lot of folks who have used it already. Love it. For those who haven't, what are you waiting for? Here's a message from Tom Brady himself telling you about the Autograph app.
Blue Nation, it's Tom Brady. I co-founded Autograph with one mission in mind: change the fan experience for the better. That's why I'm excited to announce the release of a new app that recognizes the biggest Michigan fans. The Autograph Fandom app gives you access to the best Michigan content, fan challenges, and exclusive rewards for diehard Wolverines, all for doing the things you already do, like listening to this podcast. Head over to the Apple App Store and search for Autograph Rewarding Fans and download today.
All right, folks, there is the QR code. Very, very simple. Take your phone out, scan it. All right, you scan that QR code, it'll take you right there. The code is Sam Webb. I said this in the last episode with Al. Buckeyes, you spell it just like it sounds. You know, Sam's not that hard. It's not two M's, not two S's, right? Webb only has two B's. No space in between on this time. In real life, it's a space between Sam and Webb, okay? In real life. But, you know, for the code, you don't need to put a space in there. Just Sam Webb, all one word. Even though, okay? So I'm trying to make it easy for you Buckeyes to follow along. You can get the app too. Vance, I'm trying to be nice, man.
Hey, they can't help themselves. They just can't help themselves. I mean, that's what I call buck ducks. I mean, I just can't help. You can't help yourself, bro.
Yeah, man. So you can, folks, you can get the app right now. Start getting the rewards for doing the things that you already do. Getting the points for doing the things you already do. And make sure, again, you got to enter the code. It is an invitation only thing. So it's not like you can just go there and download the app. You have to enter the code in order to be able to use it. The code is Sam Webb, no space. For those who are listening to this, you know, some are listening on the podcast, right? It is link.ag.fan/Sam Webb. It is link.ag.fan/Sam Webb. And again, the code is Sam Webb, all one word. And you can get the app and you can start getting rewarded for doing what you do already, like listening to this. Start getting the points for that, right? Might as well be rewarded. Great concept from Tom Brady. Go ahead and get the Autograph app. With that, Vance, let's start getting into the questions, my friend.
Sam, I got one thing right quick. I was looking for this. I couldn't find. Just found it. It's from Pro Football. It said that Michigan has a chance to win, getting pressure on Kyle McCord. Ohio State has given up 18 sacks this season, and the Wolverines' edge rushers are really starting to come on. Michigan has 27 sacks on the year, and the Buckeyes line has given up a decent amount of pressure. Right tackle, that's number 7, and Josh has allowed 5 sacks and 11 pressures, according to Pro Football. Left tackle Josh Simmons has allowed 11 pressures, and the center, Carson, has allowed a team-high 16 pressures. Like I said, the offensive line is the key to our success.
Okay. And they are coming on. I mean, Big Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham.
Woo.
I wonder if it's the club. Did Mason have the club off? I wonder if Mason has the club off. Because, man, you know, we've talked a lot about Kenneth Grant lately, and he's a beast. We haven't talked as much about Mason, and I just got a feeling we're gonna be talking about Mason Graham after this game, Vance. I just had a sneaking suspicion that he's about to have a really good game. So we'll see. Because just what you said, man, lining up over that center, he's a problem.
He is.
Problem.
Anybody we put on that center is going to be a problem for that guy. He's had issues the entire year. So you know what? It's like having a flu. We should get this guy the flu. He should lead his team crying, sick, nose running, ears stopped up, the whole bag of tricks, baby. Tylenol, won't even help. He needs NyQuil.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and get started for some of the questions. Let's move into, all right, Michael Dunn on Facebook wants to know, Vance, how do we contain Trevion Henderson?
Get off the blocks. As long as our linebackers fit properly, secondary fit properly, we don't have a problem. The times he has broken loose, the linebackers of the secondary were in the wrong gaps. He bounced it outside for big plays. Most of his big plays have not come inside out. He starts inside and bounces outside. So the term I used before, slow till you know, that means take care of your responsibility first. And then once you do that, then you can fall back and make a play later. So just stay in our gaps, we'll be just fine.
Steve Horn was talking about your diagram. Lewis, first of all, talking about, he's like, Coach got diagrams and that camo sweater on. He's bringing the fire today.
Baby, I'm camouflaged out. I'm ready to go to battle. Somebody just send me a hat. I'm good to go.
All right. So Steve picked up on that. He said, cut splits also tip the route as well, Vance. Did you see it tipping routes?
Yes, it does. It's an indicator for either certain routes you're going to get or they're in position to block. So that's why, again, we go back to the video from on Wednesday, and we had a zone drop and the defensive end never looked outside. You need to be looking outside in this ball game. If he just drops and watch the quarterback, we're in trouble. There are a lot of balls thrown between the hash marks. It's different than last year. You know, last year I was concerned about them doing that. They didn't do any of it. This year, the 4 games I looked at, Sam, there are a lot of balls being thrown between the hash. They work in the middle of the field because those are better throws for this quarterback.
Okay, let's go back to it. Let's see. So the offensive questions that folks, we did the session with Al. Suggest if you missed that one, go back and watch that one, because a lot of the questions that you're asking there about, like, you know, putting Donovan and Blake on the field together, we went over all of that. All right. So Vance, Inku, if I hope I said your name right, apologize if I didn't. Vance, any chance Michigan takes the approach of single covering Egbuka with Johnson and doubling Harrison Jr. with cornerback 2, which is Josh Wallace, and a safety? Is that how would you handle that?
Well, we hadn't matched up since Jesse's been there. When I was at Michigan, we didn't match up either. I mean, we felt like we did enough things to throw quarterbacks off balance. And again, I had big corners. You know, I had Charles Woodson, Andre Weathers, William Peterson. You know, they all over 6 feet tall. So I was never concerned about that. We were always aware of what those guys were, but we had to stop the run. So right now, you might lean to Marvin's side, but the other receivers are pretty doggone good. So you got to be real careful about that. And for the most part, the 4 games I looked at, the teams did a good job on Marvin. He made some great catches, don't get me wrong, but they really slowed him down. And they're going to take some shots with him. We just got to make plays. And I'm going to go back to this again, Sam. If we walk up and press, I'm asking, do not stab and open up like we did last week. That's asking for trouble. Get up there, get square, get your hands on them, get them back inside, and we're going to be okay.
All right, let's go back to the questions. Vance, last week, and this is a great question from Nala, who's asking a lot of great questions. Nala wanted to know, man, I lost it that quick, but I remember what the gist of the question. Did you notice the linebackers being impacted by the loss of their linebacker coach in the game? Could you see evidence of any kind of impact at all?
You know what? It might have affected them somewhat, because here's a guy who's been with them the whole year, you know, going back to spring ball, summertime, and emotionally, it could have affected them some. You know, but as the game went on, I mean, the issue we ran into was when Mike got hurt. I mean, so that continuity that we've had in key situations wasn't there. And again, on certain plays, we had cut splits, indicators saying something is about to happen, and no one talked. We go back to, it was Penn State. They had the water bucket play for the 2-point play, and you pointed it out. Guess who was talking to everybody through who to cover whom? Mike was. So he's the communicator out there, apparently, from what we've been seeing off the television and video screen. So when he left, that went out. So we get in this game tomorrow, and they start getting cut splits, and no one's communicating, we're going to see some problems out there. So hopefully that's being communicated by the secondary. We have 2 DB coaches. Get it cleaned up. We got a cut split or watch the cross or watch the crack. So that's telling the backside end, that's checking a backside linebacker. It's a possibility the guy on my side is heading your way. Get ready to go make some plays.
All right, let's go ahead and get to the next question for Vance as I pull him up here. All right. This one from Chris Wilkins. Vance, do you see a scenario where they spy Henderson instead of McCord since he's less of a threat? I've seen it in a high school game in Ohio, and it was amazing.
No, we're not going to spy Henderson. We play man-to-man. It's like, that's my cat, that's your cat. We're in zone football. They throw check down. You got to react back to it and tackle it. We're going to call the defense as we've been calling it the entire year. We're not going to change things. We might have 1 or 2 different things he might have held back to attack them with. But Sam, look at the different schemes we run throughout the year. How do you prepare for all of it? You really can't. On third down in low defense, they run 4 different looks. So how do you prepare for that? They get it in the even. They ran 4 different looks. And those 2 fronts, that's 8 different defenses, Sam. You can't prepare for it all. And now they've run nickel Sam where they angle the whole front. Or they run nickel Sam with a backside, they got a stun on. They've done it all. So, again, you can't prepare for all of it. As an offensive line, you got to prepare for certain concepts. But just do what we've been doing. We've been doing it quite well. We do those type of things, we're going to be okay.
All right, on to the next one. For Vance, folks, get your questions in the chat. I'll get as many of them as I can. Blank Name wants to know, which safety would you want over the top helping the cornerback against Harrison Jr. Page? It has more length, but I think more is quicker. Do you make a distinction who you have over the top, man?
I don't because right now the guy's already playing certain positions. And by alignment, that tells you who's going to be over the top, who's not going to be over the top. When I was in the NFL, I had a guy named Mike Brown from Nebraska. I got to a point where my other safety wasn't a great over-the-top guy. So Mike Brown was always that guy because I knew he was going to be where he's supposed to be. But for our 2 safeties right now, based on coverage, I don't think they have an issue. I think pretty much they both can do the same thing. Both of them find the ball, pretty well.
Absolutely. All right, let's get back to it with questions for Vance. Get them in the chat if you have them. All right. Got another one. Vance, this is from Lamar Sanders. Ohio State lit up Penn State when they went to man. What do we do differently when we mix in man concepts?
I don't think they lit them up. I mean, I just go back to that second quarter. If it wasn't for the PI on a touchdown, Penn State might have beaten Ohio State. They hit some plays, don't get me wrong. But for 3 quarters, again, they did what they did. And they ran some zero coverage. We're not a zero coverage team. So when you do that, you're asking for trouble. Everybody's one-on-one, so you can throw it to anybody. We're going to have a guy in the post for the most part that should eliminate, those. They should have explosive plays, 10 to 20 yards, but those 40-yard plays, it shouldn't happen if our guy could get the guy on the ground. So we're not Penn State. Penn State is a zero, man-free. We're going to blitz you every down. That's not who we are. So I'm not concerned about that. We're not going to play that way.
All right. Get back to the questions. A lot of them coming through, Vance. Are coming fast and furious today. They want to hear your take on this game. So how would you, we can sort of talked about different methods of defending Marvin. Kwame Tuasami, thanks for coming in. Kwame says, I would not single cover Marvin Harrison. He is the real deal and will get his. Would you take that approach? Would you say I'm not single covering him at all in this game?
I'm going to call my defense like I always did. If I'm let's say I am in some type of man free, well, my safety going to lean to that side. I'm going to ask my corner to walk up on him anytime we're man to man most of the day to roll up on him. If we got a cloud to that side, I'm doing it for a pressing. I'm going to do it for a pressing line. I don't be walking up on him. I want to disrupt him just having free release down the football field. That in itself buys time for your D line to get home. See, coverage is not just about the DBs. It's about the pressure the defensive front and linebackers put on the quarterback to make his feet feel uncomfortable. And that's what's key to secondary play is that. But for the most part, I don't want to give him a free release. I'm trying to disrupt him every single time if possible. Again, I'm going to go back to this. I'm in Chicago, so we got Randy Moss on one side. We got Chris Carter. We got Jake Reed. Well, Chris Carter, a Hall of Fame guy. You got Randy Moss, a Hall of Fame guy. So I put my most physical guy on Randy Moss. He pressed him every snap. Whether it's cover two, he pressed him. It was man-to-man, he pressed him. So, and I had a guy leaning to the side. So I told him other corner, it was R.W. Quarter. He's the first round pick out of Oklahoma State. I said, you got Chris Carter. I said, bro, you ain't got no help in this game. You in zero coverage because I'm leading Randy Moss. And so, but he could handle that because Chris wasn't a deep guy. He was a route guy. So based on the guys you have in the secondary, what you're doing, you can adjust to help out, but you just can't totally leave guys by themselves. There's not the NFL where you have those kind of guys. Because right now, again, matchup-wise, if I was going to do that, the little Mike could go in the corner. Mm-hmm. I'm just being honest. Little Mike could go. If I'm going to lean like that, little Mike could go in the corner.
Yeah, that's the adjustment. You remember versus, I think it was it the Purdue game where you were talking about Josh Wallace? I think he had his best half of football, and then we didn't see him in the second half. I think he got a little banged up in that game. He came back and played against Penn State. So it's just been a matter of, that there's that too. They've been kind of working their depth ever since then, and we've been seeing Mikey a little more at corner since then as well. I think they go in there. If they have to break glass in case of emergency, I think that's the emergency that they go to is Mikey playing corner.
I totally agree. And again, if I'm just going back to we playing against Ohio State and David Boston have been a first round pick. I never matched Charles Woodson up on him. If he was into the boundary, he was on Dre Willis. One time Dre walked up on him. He quick jammed him, knocked him flat on the ground. I wasn't afraid of him. But we're going to do what we do. I mean, we're going to take guys away because I believe in my guys. So based on the secondary coaches and their philosophy, which I don't know I don't know what it is. So I'm not throwing no darts at nobody. I don't really know what their philosophy is. Mine has always been aggressive. Walk up, get your hands on them, let's go play football. Now, I'm a street fighter, Sam.
So tell me how you would specifically, Will Johnson, because a lot of people believe that Michigan will ask him to match up at times, man to man. Maybe they won't. That's not what they have done typically. But if they were to do that, give me your coaching points. How would you have Will, based on his physical attributes, how would you have him play Marvin Harrison?
I'm going to walk up on him most of the time. See, Marvin Harrison, when he runs his route, he stems a lot. What I mean is that he's taking an inside release or outside release. He kind of tells you what you're going to do. So you can drive his routes. Because back when I first went to Florida with Urban, okay, so I'm teaching the guys how to play off. And every time they stemmed, I taught my guys to not go vertical. You can tell by their releases on what routes they're going to run. So we start jumping routes. I mean, they got Percy Harvin and all them guys out there. I got guys eating them up. I got the receivers coming to me and say, Coach, how we beat stem release? How we beat your technique? Say, go talk to your receiver coach. You guys are laughing early on. Go talk to him. So he started trying to run double and triple moves. So I'm going to press him some. I'm going to play off. And by his releases, how he works it, you should have a good idea what he's doing and jump. Now, they can double move you. Double move takes time. And that's on the safety. The safety is responsible for double move.
Gotcha. All right, Vance. Sean Patterson wants to know, Vance, have you seen a better defensive interior line trio than the ones that we've seen from Michigan? We've talked a lot about Kenneth Grant, just been absolutely balling. Mason Graham, we talked about him a little bit earlier in the season. And Chris Jenkins came in with scouts kind of drooling over him. And we've been seeing these young guys so much that people aren't even talking about him as much, and he's still a really good player. Have you seen a better interior?
Overall, because of the depth that we have, it makes it different because you keep them fresh. Some guys don't have that kind of depth, so big guys wear out. Now, I'm going to go back to what my father said. I was down in Houston, back in October. My father was watching watching your show. He was talking about, he said, man, the defensive linemen at Michigan, they have great feet. They never on the ground, Sam. Their feet are always moving. They're always attacking. They don't get cut. They stay up. They stay in their gaps. And that's hard, especially when you rotate guys, how we rotate guys. I think that is impressive in itself.
Yeah. People are definitely picking up what you're putting down, Vance, as far as the weakness being the offensive line and having some advantages on the interior. P. Maximus wants to get back to the secondary. He says, Vance, I'm concerned when our safeties really having to concern themselves with the big play run game and the pass game of Ohio State. Our linebackers look to react a second late rather than delivering a blow. Do you see those issues when you watch
No,
Michigan on film?
I don't. It's the way we play defense. I mean, we're always going to have at least one safety involved in run support. And compared to last year, Sam, we are so much better at those things. You remember last year, we had several big run plays against us in different teams because the linebackers fit and safeties fit. I think it's been cleaned up. We had a minor issue last week. Otherwise, no, we hadn't had any. So, no, I'm not concerned about that at all. I mean, based on coverage, both safeties are going to be in position to have to run support because we're going to play some quarters, a quarter, half. Sometimes we roll to the boundary, sometimes we roll to the field. Okay, for example, Marvin Harrison, you can call quarter, half based on where the side he's aligned. Sam, in other words, the cover two side, one side is cover two, and one side is cover 4 quarters. You can always have the cover two side to his side. I've done that before too. So in other words, you can reroute him every single snap if you choose to. So there's ways to get that done. So there's ways to take him away, and it also helps with your run fits because it keeps him mixing it up against Ohio State. Now, this is what I'm concerned about. I saw, again, looking at their game 2 weeks ago, saying they went up tempo. They went up tempo and caught the team off guard. And they didn't allow for the defensive checks to come in because we check every single time. But for the most part, Ohio State offense is come to the line of scrimmage and check with me. But every once in a while, they go up tempo. They'll never look to the sideline. They get right back on the ball and go. And so for us, I hope we have a base check that we go to when and if that does happen.
Gotcha. So I'm getting a lot of questions again about CP Chris Partridge, who I've said before. Full disclosure, that's my guy. I've known CP for 12 years now. Going back to when he was a high school coach, going back to the recruitment even before of Jabril Peppers. And so I have watched him come up in the profession, and unfortunate set of circumstances that had him get let go. So took it on the chin, accepted responsibility, didn't do, well, at least put it this way. I haven't seen all this stuff they're reporting nationally about destroying this and that. I haven't seen any evidence of that. That was not what was said to him when he was fired, any of that stuff. I have no information to suggest any of that is true. But what we talked about the investigation and talking to players and advising them, yeah, that's what he got fired for. So what impact does that have on the linebackers? And a lot of people, and Vance, you talked about it, said you saw more of an impact when Mike Barrett went out. Rick Mentor took over as the linebacker coach, but I think the stabilizing force, and I'm going to bring him up on the screen because I want to give him a shout out here real quick. And this is often how it goes, Vance, when a coach might be let go and you got to, step up who steps up in a moment, especially a guy who hadn't been coaching the position. And Rick Mentor, very, very decorated, long-standing coach. But the guy who's been coaching with him day to day is this dude right here, LaTroy Lewis, the linebacker assistant.
Okay.
So he, I think that for the guys, for them to have some stability there and to kind of feel like their head wasn't spinning, I think LaTroy's presence was a big deal there. He was the linebacker assistant. He's been there with him in practice day to day. Because that was one of the things I said to you, Vance, like, man, these dudes got to go in the game with a dude who's never coached them. He might be a real good coach. And you talked about Rick Mentor he's like, man, we should have hired Rick, where were you at, Colorado State or something?
Colorado State.
Yeah, said y'all should have hired Rick Mentor way back then. He had all kind of scouting stuff, legal scouting stuff right?
Yes,
Man,
he
y'all
did.
was like, man, we need to hire this dude. So damn good coach, obviously very experienced coach, but these guys didn't have the kind of familiarity with him that to never have been coached by him and that wasn't gonna have an impact. Well, Detroit was there. And that's a big deal for these guys, a big deal for the team. So just wanted to give him a little shout out and kind of kind of give them a little bit of a mind at ease that it's not like they just got thrown out there with a guy who never coached them and that's it. They had Latroy there too. So that's that.
And Sam, on that note, talking about the linebackers, and I'm gonna go back to a year ago. You and I talked, and I brought this up, and you said that Michigan they teach their guys to spot drop in zone, and they teach them to match up in zone.
Mm-hmm.
And I was never a good enough coach to teach both. If you spot drop on these guys and not body guys up, they're gonna have guys running free the entire ball game. So I don't know. Again, I wasn't a good enough coach to teach both because my zone pressures and quarters coverage taught the same way. Then you get to cover 3, it's putting a body on a body, and then you get your eyes back to the quarterback. So I'm hoping whatever we teach, we got a body on a body and understand by splits and releases what is going to happen in the course of the ball game. And if we do that, Sam, don't be surprised if the linebackers or safety, we pick off 2 or 3 interceptions. They're going to test us over the middle of the field to find out if we know what we're doing.
Man, first of all, you can tell the people who watch us all the time because their questions are just so Adam Shepardson is here a lot. Said, Vance, how do you feel Michigan fares defending the run in more nickel sets? How would you defend the run when that's your deployment?
Well, when they're in 11 personnel, you're going to have 5 DBs in the game. If you saw last week, they put the safety down as nickel and have Mikey outside. So they went bigger to try to stop the run. So again, if we have an issue, don't be surprised you see the same situation again. You're getting a more physical guy to nickel position to, number one, to beat the start block by the receiver and also be able to attack a tight end. So we can see that if we having trouble early on, you might see them go to that. But again, I'm going to go back to this. We do enough things defensively where a lot of times, Mikey don't have to worry about being the start block because we're going to blitz him off the edge. Or we're going to blitz a linebacker. We do different things to go and stop the run. And the biggest thing, again, is that we stay in our gaps. And the linebackers, they make us right when we're not in our gaps. The old attitude is never follow the same color in the hole. In other words, if I see a maize color in the A gap, if I'm a linebacker, I'm not going to A gap. Maize already there, so you guess what? I'm going to the next gap. If you got them in the same hole right there, you got issue. So it's playing with your eyes. And I'm going back to last week. I said, our discipline was poor. Our discipline needs to improve this week. If it does, success, celebration, get ready to go for the Big Ten championship. That's it, Sam. We need to win the next 2 games so they can come down in Houston because I could be in Houston at that time. So you now can go hook up.
Yeah, there we go. That needs to happen. Come on.
That needs to happen.
Come on, football guys. Let's make that happen. So Adam had a follow-up question. Vance, as a defensive coach, do you think Mentor limits our rotation in the secondary and keeps our most experienced guys in the game more?
I didn't say I didn't rotate. I didn't do that. Hey, for a defensive back, it's like wide receiver. Well, you better run all day long. Okay. Hey, Sam, if you a cheater, it's like somebody's talking about cheater don't have to stretch when they run a line. Cheater stretch all day long. You like he yawning, he's stretching. So when it's time to go, Sam, bam, 70 miles an hour. My DBs, hey, we're gonna run in practice, Sam. They don't. Hey, I'll tell you, you get tired after the game over with. Mm-hmm. You don't get tired in the game. If you go back to, I'm going back when I was in Michigan, I didn't rotate them guys in and out. They wouldn't play. I conditioned them with drill work to play the entire ball game. And you have to be able to do that. And every once in a while, for your corner nickel situation, based on how they're playing, little Mikey can go outside. But guess what? Your other corner in there the whole time. Your safety there the whole time. That's probably the only position that does not rotate. If you look in the NFL or you go to Alabama, Georgia, they don't rotate them guys now. They know one thing: you're finna play the entire ball game, so no excuses.
Yeah, so they kind of flipped it on you. Nala kind of flipped it on you and said, Vance, from a defensive perspective, because I'm sure you've kind of watched their defense a little bit. What would you tell our offense against their defense? Did you see anything that stuck out to you during the years you watched them defensive? Because last year I remember asking you the question. I said, Vance, you think they might try to play like Illinois? You was like, man, that's
No,
you was like, no,
and they
they not
did.
gonna do that, and they did. And they
And
did.
guess what? What happened to them, Sam? They did something they weren't supposed to do.
That's right.
So their secondary this year is playing better than what they did last year. They got a really good secondary coach. He coached in the league, keeping other places. Tim Watson, excellent secondary coach. You know, for us, for our offense, I'm going to hide in, whether he's up position or not, to the side of my left tackle. For run pass, I'm going to slow down their pass rush because they're going to try to find ways to attack him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they really are. They're going to go after our two tackles. They're going to see, can they protect? They're good run blockers, but pass protection has been a concern for the past 4 ball games. So for Ohio State, they're going to find ways to attack those guys, make those guys be one-on-one. Now, we can go to, as I was listening to Al a little bit, you can go with 6 offensive linemen, but now your pass game just went down. You have enough receivers to go out. Yeah, you're bigger in the run, but what they have to do if you do that, they got to go to base personnel guy to nickel, which also benefits you because I think if Loveland could beat any safety man to man. I mean, so there are some advantages in playing 6 offensive linemen with Loveland in the game or the other tight end because those guys are pretty good receivers and they present a huge problem for Ohio State secondary.
All right. Here's a good question. Justin Pollington says Michigan seems like a defense that manufactures pressure, which you advocated. He was like, hey, they need to twist the front more. They needed more movement up front, and that has been a part of generating pressure. But Justin wants to know, do we have one guy that can wreck this game with the pass rush? And no, he's thinking about Aiden Hutchinson and how he did it. But what do you see, Vance?
5.
I mean,
Number 5. Hey, both our defensive ends in this particular game right here, 32-5, both Sam. They can run around these tackles now. They really can. But that's people look at that. Well, this guy can do it one-on-one. Okay, you can say we manufacture pressure. That's part of your defense. That's who you are. We are a movement team. We're not one-on-one. You all 4 or 5 guys that straight pass rush. On paper, for offensive line coach, they hope you do that. They want you to do that. Okay, Aiden Hutchinson, I'll go back to his senior year. His first 3 or 4 ball games, everybody was complaining, we're not getting any pressure. And I said back then, I said, well, as the season goes on, he and Ajabo both going to start showing up, which they did. I mean, so at the end of the day, people look sometimes for the simplicity of I've got a great player that you can win one-on-one. But we have 4 or 5 guys because of our scheme that's getting sacks. We got 28 sacks this year, Sam. Mm-hmm. So whether you want to call it manufactured sacks or simplicity of I got one great pass rusher, we winning. We winning with sacks and pressures and nothing else. So let's keep on manufacturing those sacks. Let's get 5 sacks this game and see what happens.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing. You getting sacks, who cares how you get them, right? At the end
However
of
you can get them.
However you can get them. And Vance was saying last year, hey, they got to move the front. They got to twist the front, Sam. They got to twist the front. They started twisting the front. They started having some success.
So you know what? Hey, Sam, they should have paid us some money because they listened to your show.
All right. So a couple more here before we get out. Carl Nepfler says, am I right to say we dropped in coverage a lot last year against Stroud? Shouldn't we be more aggressive against McCord?
No. They protect McCord now. It's a different passing game. Stroud would drop deep. He was looking for the deep shots all the time. He was trying to win the Heisman Trophy. The pass game right now is different. Again, it's a lot of high lows. I mean, there's one guy deep in the area and one guy short in that area. So they high low on somebody. If it's not deep, he's going to throw it short. He's trying to find ways not to take sacks. They get in trouble on 3rd down and long. Okay, I was looking at the Rutgers game. Sam, what's 2nd down and 7 and 8? They in pistol. Again, I told you pistols what? Run, play action pass. They're running a power for about 7 yards on 1st down. So the thought process is we're going to protect McCord. Don't put him in a situation where he has to win the game. We're going to run the ball, play action pass, throw some screens, run hollow plays. If they're not there, throw the check down to Trayvon Henderson. So no,
Yes.
Be
So
careful about that pressure because you're going isolation one-on-one on their receivers.
So Mike Layton followed that question up with one. He said, Vance, can we get home on the QB without blitz packages consistently enough to help our backers in coverage? I feel when we can't, it equals trouble.
Yeah, we can get home. Like I said, our 2 defensive ends one-on-one, our guys in front. Even when we just rush them 4, Sam, a lot of times, if it's second and long or third and long, they think it's pass, we twist the front. We do a great job of guys executing those stunts to get home so we can get pressure. Again, we already said the center has given up more pressures than the tackles. That's number 1. The right tackle has given up 5 sacks, 11 pressures. The other tackle has given up, I think, 12 or 13 pressures. So, yeah, we get home with just 4 guys. But again, guys, we worried about the wrong thing. Let's go do what brought us to the dance. Okay? So this not Cinderella where she got to leave the ball because she lost a silver slipper. Now, Cinderella at the ball, now she's staying for breakfast. It's all good, baby. We're going to do what we do.
All right. Only a couple more. So, Vance, you talked about tempo earlier. Jeremy Matthews said, how do we handle tempo and getting caught in base defense? What do you do?
See, Notre Dame got caught in tempo where it hurt him a little bit. Rutgers got caught in tempo, it hurt him a little bit. And again, I always say we had a base call. You don't get a call, this is our base call. Linebacker makes a call, we get the front and secondary lined up. And whatever the base call is for Jesse, I don't know. For me, if I'm going to Ohio State right now, my base call would be Sam, be nickel Sam. I'm angling in front, bring a guy. If you want to go fast, I'm coming to get you there. I don't blitz you. If you want to go fast, I don't see can I get you behind the sticks, and now you're really in trouble. But that's just my thought process. I was always a guy who wanted the pressure. So I'm one of them guys, like I go in the closet, Sam, beat myself in the stomach 4 or 5 times, come all pissed off. Now I'm going to bring the heat. But Jesse a little bit different. He's a little bit more conservative looking than I am. So, I was just off the chain. They knew I was nuts. So I'm good, man.
You blitzing from the parking lot, Vance.
Oh, man. They know I'm blitzing. Man, I'm at Oklahoma State. We playing Texas and VY. Well, I blitzed them the first 10 snaps, man. I was cutting them left and right. We go into halftime. We up by 10. But then VY became Vance Young. I blitzed him one time. So I got 2 guys unblocked. 2. Did you know they both missed him? I got a safety roll up to a cloud corner. I say, VY should come around like a pump fake. I say, if he pump fakes you, go right through his chest. Don't jump. Go right through his chest. VY came around there with him. Bam, guess what the safety did? His dumb ass jumped. VY went 65 yards for a touchdown. The game changed. We had this to the fact.
Hey, man, I was on the field when Pat Massey was like 6'7", 270, 280 pounds. He fell right off the dude.
Oh, he's a different animal now.
Fell right off of Vince Young. Yeah, he was an animal in the college.
So again, you do what you do. Don't worry about anything else. As long as we should be okay. We get good run fits. Don't give a big play in the run game. We execute matchup routes in the middle of the field for all the digs and deep over routes. We're going to be in good shape.
Yeah. Hasib Sadat said, Vance, how big a problem will it be to set the edges against the run? I think Henderson can't run inside against our D-line, but he has the speed to get outside. Do you see that?
As long as we execute and we play with good leverage, he should never get outside of us. Other teams, again, they kept jumping inside. I'm going back to what my old D-line coach say, slow till you know. In other words, don't stick your head inside it's not supposed to be. If you're on the outside edge, stay there. Against Notre Dame, the defensive end, he's like, I see him. I'm going to jump inside, make this play. Bam. Bounce outside for a 65-yard touchdown play. And they run, saying they have run some toss sweeps with Trayvon, some quick pitches with Trayvon. They want him to get him outside because he can run. But again, for our defensive ends, we play pretty wide. Most people play a tight 5. They heavy. Our guys, really, they're a loose 5. They're on air. It's hard to get outside of our guys. If they get outside of us, that means we got a big bust by the defensive ends in this ball game.
All right, so we'll close this way because a lot of people say, what does Vance think of the final score? Nala came back with a similar question, said, question for Vance. This time last year, you said JJ's going to light him up. And that's exactly what happened. What are you predicting this year for us to win this game?
28-24. JJ gonna go for 200 yards, no interceptions. Our two running backs together gonna go for 150. They're gonna shorten the game, keep them off the football field, get in the red zone and score. 28-24 to Wolverines.
All
And
right.
on to Iowa State, who can't run or throw the football.
Yeah, I mean, Iowa, they just keep, it's crazy. That tells you how bad the Big Ten is. That Iowa is about to be a 10-win team.
But you know what was crazy? This was should be happening in the Big Ten. It's a Big Ten commissioner fault. Iowa every year, see either play Michigan or Ohio State every single year. And they don't. I mean, that makes no sense. So every single year, they should play either Michigan or Ohio State. They should make sure the best teams on both sides play at least one of the teams. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah. I hear you, Vance. Well, hey, listen, this was a special session. I hope that you took advantage of this by soaking up the knowledge. You too, Buckeyes. And I got to give the Michigan fans in the chat some credit because y'all tolerated them, right? It's funny, man. You know, they were talking like this last year too. You would think that there would be some hesitation, but there's not. And I actually dig that about the Buckeyes because it's going to make Saturday so much sweeter if I get a chance to do my thing. Vance, if I get a chance to do my thing, I'm just hoping that it's not just me and you doing the show after that. I hope all my other jobs still let me come back because I got some things to say to the Buckeyes. I can't wait, fans. I've been waiting for this all year. You know that, right?
I know it, Sam. Hey, Sam, I'm gonna be right there on my phone, on my Twitter. I'm looking for people to hit me up. I'm hitting you back. I'm gonna be on, boy. I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be blowing somebody up. Either way, I will be on Twitter in that game having a blast.
Yeah, here's what you got to know about me, Buckeyes. I'm not gonna hide. If Michigan loses, I will tip my cap and I will give credit. But if they win, oh man, y'all just got to be sure. Y'all got to promise me to show up. I mean, I appreciate all the support y'all giving me coming in my streams and subscribing to my site and follow me on Twitter. I've never had so much Buckeye support. You know, some of y'all just want to troll, but I'm cool with that as long as you keep paying me. I keep saying that. So we got a nice relationship going on right now. So listen, just show up on Saturday if you lose. Don't be a front runner. Don't back away, you know, just when they lose and you only show up when they win. Show up, win or lose. That's what I'm gonna do. All right.
Hey, Sam, so you keep saying if. Hold on, I gotta find this for you. It's no if. I keep saying what the score gonna be now. We're gonna win this ball game. I gotta find this for you. Hold on, Sam. Don't go nowhere just yet. I gotta find this one thing for you.
I don't know what's
coming, bro. You can't go just yet. Hold on.
I don't know what's coming. So
yeah, you don't know what's coming. You just hold on. If I can find this thing, hold on, bro.
Yeah, folks.
Oh.
We covered it. Get the baby. Okay. Go ahead. I went for my band to play it at Risky.
Hey, I'm trying to get crunk.
Hey.
Sam, we covered it. Get them bucket ducks, man. I'm just telling you, Sam. We covered it. Get them, baby. Come to get them.
Hey, folks. Hey, you got them ready, Vance. You got them ready?
Hey, Sam, not a doubt in my mind, baby. I keep trying to tell you, 28-24, just ride with me. 28-24, JJ going for 200, running backs going for 150. Now we coming to play. We're gonna be playing Michigan football. Both Tim Becker's proud was going to happen in this ball game. And I know if with me, I already know. I'm not like somebody said, if wishes was fishes, the seas would be full. I don't know what that means, but I do not. We are going to win this ball game.
Hey, Vance.
I like that. Somebody with a bucket ducks.
Yeah, hey, we being close said it's not safe. It's not safe.
It's not safe. It's a train.
Get on the train, baby. Get on the train.
Get on that train, baby. Hey, don't get out the way.
Hey, folks, we have too much fun on this show. And it sounds like y'all have fun with us, so we appreciate that. And we'll be back breaking it all down, win or lose next week. But like Vance said, he said it's going to be a dub. So That's going to make it even more fun. Be sure to check us out tomorrow because we'll do the post game from the field. Josh Newkirk and I, like always. I'm going to be on CBS for the pregame in the morning, so be on the lookout. Wait, no. I start out the morning on Channel 4. So I'm going to be on Channel 4 around 7:45. And then I'm going to do the CBS pregame at around 11 a.m. And then we're going to do the post game from the field, 24/7 Sports. And if Michigan wins, or when Michigan wins, I'm going to leave the field and I'm going over to the WTKA post game show at a local sports bar where it's going to be a crowd. See, because, man, that's one of the things that put me in the zone last week. I had it was like a whole crowd in the studio. My whole family was there. And I got in the zone, Vance. And then all the people in the chat, I was just, it was like an out-of-body experience. I just thought, Buckeye, ooh. I was like,
Hey,
man.
hey, you lost your voice.
I was like, oh, man. They want something. I got to give it to them, right? So, but it's going to be a crowd over there. Oh, Vance, it's going to be an experience. It's going to be an experience if Michigan wins this game. So, or when Michigan wins this game. So I'm looking forward to it. I just want the Buckeyes to show up. Don't leave me, Buckeyes. Don't leave me. Stay with me. Stay with me. I want you to hear what I have to say because there's going to be some very helpful tidbits that I throw your way, right, to help you out moving forward. Okay.
Hey. When we beat them, they're going to say, Ryan Day, you need to go to Texas A&M.
All right, folks. We had a great time. We hope you did too. Looking forward to the game. We'll see you coming up. By the way, 75% off Black Friday deal, 24/7 Sports over to MichiganInsider.com. Do not delay. Don't wait. It came early, but it ends on time. So don't miss the opportunity. For those of you who are now full paying subscribers, because you came off a promo or you've been subscribing for a long time, activate your Paramount Plus subscription. That is your perk for being a full paying member. The people on promo don't get Paramount Plus. You do. Take advantage of it, all right? That'll do it for us on this edition of the Michigan Football Breakdown. We'll see you tomorrow.
Go Blue.